I literally decided like 5 minutes ago to jump on the 8 fountain pen questions tag that Seemownay and LianeLikes started. Chris Saenz, I just watched her video and I thought, you know, I want to do just a lighthearted, fun video. And I want to bring back some of that fountain pen love and fun and create a fun video rather than all this like dark and brooding content I've been creating lately. So you will hear people around because there are people. I wrote down the questions for the tag right here, but I have not written down any answers and I have not pre-rehearsed, except I did count my pens and I did count my pens and my inks. That's the only preparation that I did. I want my answers to be authentic and real, so no rehearsing. I'm out of, like, I already drank my coffee for this morning, so I can't have another coffee until later tonight. And because I drink coffee before bed too, because it helps me relax. So I've got my Coke Zero here. Yes. Excuse me. And now I'm ready to go. Back to the fountain pens. That's why we're here. If I burp during this video, I apologize in advance. Soda makes me very burpy. I'll try to, if I do burp, I'll edit that out. Maybe I should just go ahead and start this video over again. Okay. Hopefully I will not burp anymore. Should have heard the one that escaped. Not really. That's so gross. Fountain pens and soda. Oh God, I'm gonna delete that. Welcome back. Oh, I have a lot of editing to do on this video. Let's just roll with it. 8 questions for fountain pen lovers tag. 8 questions. Okay, so I'm gonna do my best to not be too crazy chatty, but this is a chatty kind of video. So I may be kind of chatty. You know what? I'm not gonna do my best to not be chatty. I'm just gonna be chatty because, as you know, I'm chatty. All right, so number 1, when and how did your fountain pen journey begin? Okay, so my fountain pen journey began in 2020. Yeah, the beginning of 2020. My gateway was the planner community. I was a pretty planner. I planned in Erin Condren, and I used to do I've done a few planner videos in my time. Nothing big. No like super plan with me's or anything like that. I didn't do all that. I never really had the budget to have like kits for everything or stuff like that. So I think I have a video on here where I was like doodling in the boxes, the planner boxes. That's like a long video, like way far away. So I don't remember exactly who it was as far as videos that I watched that encouraged me to look into fountain pens. But I do remember that my very first fountain pen was a white Lamy Safari, and in the same purchase I also bought a clear Moonman 1Kai Mini. Well, now it's Mahjong, but at the time it was a Moonman 1Kai Mini. So those were my very first two fountain pens, my first foray into the fountain pen world. And I was quite happy with them for a long time. I really loved the 1Kai Mini. It was so much fun to write with. I would use cartridges, and then I would also eyedropper it. My very first fountain pen ink was Konpeki by Pilot Uroshizuku, obviously, which is really interesting for me because I'm not really, look at me wearing blue, and I'm gonna say I'm not really a blue person. This is my Doctor Who shirt though, so it doesn't count. So I still have that same bottle of ink. I have about a quarter of the bottle left. And so I've been using that bottle of ink for 3 years. So I guess my fountain pen journey happened started about 3 years ago. Sorry, there was a notification. Yeah, so it began about 3 years ago with the Lamy Safari in a fine nib and the clear Moonman 1Kai Mini. Favorite inks in the beginning, and what are your go-to inks now? So as I acquired some inks, I bought a couple more Pilot Uroshizuku inks, and I really enjoyed those. I bought Shinryoku was my second ink, and later on Yamabudo. I was quite happy with those, and then I started dabbling with Diamine, and during this time I also got a couple new pens. My fountain pen and ink budget back then was like nil. So here I am buying $22 bottles of ink. Of course, in my mind I was saying, you know, I'm going to use these bottles for a very long time. And granted, it's been 3 years that I still have ink in those bottles, and I'm still using them. I actually have Konpeki in a pen right now and Yamabudo in a pen right now. So those were like my first inks. My go-to inks now are inks that I use the most frequently. Ferris Wheel Press Peter Moss, Ferris Wheel Press Buttered Popcorn, Pilot Uroshizuku Yamabudo, Kaio no Oto Kokiro, I think that's how you say it, Kokiro. What else am I using frequently? Where's my journal I just finished? I think I already put it away in that drawer. It seems to me that those are the inks that I have been reaching for the most right now. Those are the inks I've been reaching for the most right now. Yeah. I do have a couple other pens that are inked up with other inks, but when I do my pen and ink logs, every time I ink up a new pen, those are the inks that show up the most on my pen and ink logs over the past few months. And I will use them several times in 1 month as well. My Yamabudo right now, I've had inked up in the same pen since February the 12th, and I keep refilling it. So those are kind of my go-to inks right now. My ink, I don't have a ton of inks, but I do really I appreciate the inks that I do have. Okay, how have your ink and pen tastes changed over time? With pens, in the beginning, I was really a fan of fine nibs because I came from writing with, sorry if you hear all the traffic outside, and people. In the beginning, I was coming from writing with gel pens like Pilot G2 gels and whatever from planning. And so it was the easiest for me to move into fountain pens if I was using a fine nib. So that was kind of an easier transition for me. So in the beginning, a lot of my pens were fine nibs. Over time, I have developed an appreciation for medium nibs. I have one broad nib and one stub nib, a 1.1 stub. And I do like those pens, but I mostly gravitate towards medium nibs now. I've tried many different pens. I was just looking at my pen case a few minutes ago, and what I have the most of right now are actually Lamy Safaris. When I look at my pen case, like when I'm not looking at my pen case, I think, oh, I like Lamys, but I'm not like a Lamy Safari girl. Like I don't have a collection. And then I look at my pen case and I'm like, Claire, you actually do have a collection of Lamy Safaris. And I think what attracts me the most to the Lamy Safari is just the practicality of it, how well it's made. Every Safari that I've had so far has been a fantastic writer right out of the box. I love the tri-grip. I love that I can just throw them in my pen case or throw them in my bag and I'm good to go. Which one am I kidding? Throw them in my bag. Do we really throw fountain pens just in our bags? No, we have fountain pen cases. We have travel cases for our fountain pens. I don't have a ton of different colors. Like I don't have all the different colors. Right now I'm looking right at them. I have cream, savannah, umber, mint glacé. Is it glacé or glass? I don't know. Terra, petrol. I have the new petrol, new AL petrol, and I have the old petrol, which was gifted to me, which I love. Thank you again. And then I have a Vista, and I also have a Lamy Studio. So I guess I am a Lamy girl. I am. I cannot see Lamy coming up with another color that I absolutely must have, though. I'm happy and very comfortable with the Lamys that I have, so I don't think I'll be adding any more to my collection. My non-collection collection. The other fountain pen that I have the most of would be Kaweco's, but I use my brass Kaweco Sport the most, which was also gifted to me. Thank you again. And I have a Kaweco Student, which I use quite often as well. But the 1, 2, 3 Kaweco Sports, the plastic Kaweco Sports, I don't know. I don't tend to reach for them because when I write with them, the step up at the section, it's just really sharp on my finger. So my fingers are really sensitive to it. I have macchiato, dark olive, and smooth sage, and brass Kaweco Sport, and I have a gold aluminum Sport that my husband got me for my birthday 2 years ago, and the Kaweco Student. And I don't reach for my 3 plastic Kaweco Sports very often, but I do have a rotation list with my pens, and it kind of makes sure as I go through the list that I'm using all my pens that I do have. So maybe I don't reach for them, but my rotation makes me reach for them. So I do use them. and I don't want to let those go, because who knows, a month from now, 2 months from now, I could want to take a break from my lammies and reach for my Quebecos again. I guess we're kind of fickle that way, aren't we? As far as my ink tastes, I really like jewel tone inks. I'm a green ink girl. I love a good green ink, but I've culled my ink collection to a very curated few. And when I say few, I mean like 22 ink bottles. And so I went through all of my greens and I swatched them all out, and I took the greens that were very similar, and I, made myself make some important decisions there. Like, okay, these are very similar. Which one of these colors do I gravitate towards the most? Which one do I reach for the most? Which one of these would I be the most sad to see go away? And so I made my choices, and then the other inks I actually gifted them, or I don't know if you can, I gifted them to other people. In Anamoya, we have something called Fountain Pen Friday. And so on Fountain Pen Friday, people would come in with their pens, and I would clean them, and they would get to choose a new ink from what we had in our stash and to re-ink their pens with. So I gave some inks to the ink stash of the store so that we could re-ink customers' pens. And I also gifted quite a few bottles of inks to customers as well. It's noisy here, and I apologize. You will hear other people's voices, and you will hear traffic out there. Yeah, so that's kind of how my pen and ink tastes have changed over time. I'm more selective with the inks that I keep in my collection. I was gifted a lot of ink, and I tried all of the inks, and I wrote with them all for a very long time, and I enjoyed many of them, but I found with some of them, I found that I wasn't reaching for them because I preferred other variations or shades of similar colors. So I made sure that I re-gifted those to good homes, to people who just absolutely loved that shade, loved that color. And they were very happy to receive them. So, yeah. Okay. Are there inks and pens that you have yet to try that you would like to? I would really like to try an Opus 88. Chris really likes hers, and I keep thinking, if Chris really likes hers, maybe I'll like it too. But I am not in a hurry to go out and buy one right now. I have to use my small hobby budget well, and I don't want to spend the money on a new pen not knowing if I'm going to like it or not. And yeah, so when I actually purchased the All-Star Lamy Petrol from the shop I was working at, Anamoya, because she got in, she ordered some for the store. And so I tried out the 1.1 stub nib before I got the 1.1 stub nib for that was really great, that with the pens that she had in the store, I was able to try them out before I decided if I wanted to invest in it or not. There was one pen that I bought that was a huge treat, huge investment for me. The most expensive pen I have ever bought and probably will ever buy. Was almost an entire paycheck. But I look at it as a huge investment, and I didn't go into it blind. I had used my boss's pen multiple times and really enjoyed it. I had set aside money from my paycheck for it for quite some time. And so I bought, where's it at? It's over there in my pen case. But I bought the Scarlet Esterbrook SD with a medium nib. And I bought that on February the 12th, inked it up the same day, and I have been writing with it nonstop. I love that pen. Sometimes in the past when I've had other fountain pens, like if I bought another fountain pen and it comes, there's that fleeting euphoria that comes with a new fountain pen, and you're so excited and you write with it and you write with it and you write with it and you really enjoy it. But once that cartridge is done or the converter is done, you're like, oh, okay, I've enjoyed this. I'm gonna clean this out now, put it in my pen case and move on to another pen. There have been several pens in my pen collection that I have enjoyed and loved so much that they have very rarely been uninked. I'll get to the other pen in just a minute, but ever since, hold on, what question was I answering? Oh, you know what? Let's forget that. What pens do you want to try but you haven't tried yet? I'm just totally like rabbit trail. Opus 88, eventually. You know, some people would say like a Visconti, or Chris said a Visconti. I don't know that I'm like desperate to try a Visconti. A lot of people talk about how well it writes and how I think of, there are some pens out there that I think are more prestige pens. And I don't have anyone really that looks at my pens that would say, wow, you're writing with a Visconti Homo sapiens. The only person in my real life that I know who, you know, whose pens with me was my boss. And she has like a much nicer, much larger fountain pen collection than I do. But I don't think, I can't imagine a Visconti would give me any more joy than maybe my Esterbrook SD. So as far as body of pen, whatever, I'd really like, because I have now become a fan of Esterbrook, I would like the Esterbrook Oktoberfest Camden with a journaler nib. But that purchase is way far away. Yeah. I'm not gonna be purchasing any more pens anytime soon, or inks anytime soon. But yeah, I other than the Opus 88, I can't really think of anything else that I'm like desperate to try. If you can think of anything that you think I should try, you know, by all means leave it down below and I will add it to a list, and maybe I'll be able to try it out one day. The next question is, what is your holy grail pen? And I am pleased to tell you that I was actually generously gifted my holy grail pen. I cannot say enough things about this wonderful woman who just generously gave to me out of just this. Sorry about that again. This may happen a few times. because sometimes it gets a little loud, and so I kind of want to stop for a minute. The super, super, super generous woman who gifted me not just my Holy Grail pen, but various other pens, fantastic pens, expensive pens, inks, journals. And she wants to remain anonymous, and so she just amazes me, and I'm just so in awe that someone would find so much value in my videos and want to reach out and so generously give to me. And it's just, anyway, my Grail pen was the Pilot Custom 823 in amber, and I never told anyone what my Grail pen was, but when she sent me these things, in one of the pen boxes that she sent me, lo and behold, was the Pilot Custom 823 in amber. And let me tell you, when I opened that pen box, I almost peed on myself. I was like, what? This pen has been inked since I received it in May, and it's my absolute favorite pen. My Holy Grail pen. There is not another pen in this world that could ever replace it. If I had only one pen, like if there was a fire and for some reason I had everybody else out of the house and all of the other important stuff, not all the other important stuff, if I only had time to run into my pen case and grab one pen to be saved from a fire, it would be my Pilot Custom 823. Hands down. That's not going to happen, but that's how I feel. Every time I pick up this pen and write with it, it is so smooth and the ink flows so amazingly, and it's just such a complete heartfelt joy to write with. And it makes me happy and it makes me smile when I write with it, and I am just so lucky that she sent it to me, and so lucky to have it in my collection. And this is a pen that I am going to write with forever until I can't write anymore, and it's a pen that can be handed down to one of my children. That's how I look at this pen. Yeah, and it was gifted to me, and that makes it even more special. Yeah, so that's that story. Okay, number 6. How many pens do you currently own? Like I said, I was gifted a lot of pens. Not a lot. Yeah, a lot. I was gifted a lot of pens. Some of the pens did not work for me. They were unbelievably generous gifts, but in writing with them and using them, there were some that just didn't agree with me, and so I was able to find them new homes. Now, because they were gifted to me, I didn't feel right trying to sell them, so I re-gifted them. There were a couple pens that I was so happy to re-gift, because the person that I was able to re-gift them to, these were pens that, you know, this person like really wanted, like their Holy Grail pen. And so I was just so happy that I could say, hey, this was gifted to me. For whatever reason, my heart has not attached itself to this pen, but I know yours will. And so that made me really happy. There were pens that this person gifted to me that I ended up putting in a pen case and keeping in my purse, my big, huge bag that I take everywhere with me. And there have been times when people have stopped me and asked me, you know, is that a fountain pen you're writing with? Oh, I've always wanted to get into fountain pens, or I really enjoyed them in the past, but, you know, I just had, what would you recommend? Or where should I start? Or, people who I felt like, I don't know, I had this feeling in my spirit, like, you know, oh, you're interested in this? You know what? Let me gift you this inked up pen. And here, let me write down for you, look up, you know, this pen in fountain pen reviews on YouTube. And this is where you can get bottled inks or cartridges. And I would write it all down for them. And I was so happy that I was able to do that, to be able to gift these pens to other people. It just literally, it gives me a lot of joy to be able to hand something to someone who has expressed interest in it and be able to say, this was a gift to me, but now I'm gifting it to you. And I gave my mom a fountain pen, and that was in November, and she loves it. She's been using it ever since. I showed her how to re-ink it. She uses cartridges because it's just easier for her, but she does have a bottle of ink in case she wants, you know, to use. She has a bottle of ink. She's so good. But I was able to give my mom one, and so that made me really happy. My childhood best friend's mother, who was like a second mother to me, I was able to give her one too, and she loves hers as well. So there have been pens that have come into my life that for one reason or another, my heart just didn't attach themselves to. And it's not, and my heart didn't just attach to this pen because it's an expensive pen. This woman gifted me expensive pens, and I struggled because here were these pens and I wrote with them. I wrote with all of them, and I really enjoyed it. And I still have, my collection still has the majority of what she gifted me. But there were just some pens that I just, for whatever reason, they just didn't, my heart just didn't, you know, latch onto them. So I was just really glad that I was able to re-gift those and give those to people who would really appreciate them. And my benefactor blessed me so much that I was able to do that, and that has made me really, really happy. Oh, how many pens do I own? My collection right now, I have 21 pens, and I love all the pens that I have for many different reasons, but I write with them all. I enjoy them all. They're all used. And at this point right now, I don't have a one in, one out rule, because I'm not adding fountain pens to it all the time. Fountain pen purchases are highly calculated, and I haven't purchased any lately other than the Petrol Ale Lamy, which I got from work, and my Scarlet Esterbrook, which I got from work. And I also got those because I really enjoyed at work when people come in and they want to, you know, try out fountain pens and they're curious. I really liked having my fountain pen case there, and I liked having one of each of the pens that we had at work. I liked having one inked up so I could say, oh, you're interested? Here, try my pen out. I sold a lot of fountain pens that way. But I really liked having those available to customers. So that was a lot of fun. Okay. Do you have a limit on pens or inks in your collection? Is it a number? Is it a feeling? And when do you know that you've reached your maximum? Having the pens that I have now feels excessive to me, but I love each pen that I have. They each have this spot in my heart that I can't imagine parting with any of them. And right now, I can't imagine being overly really wanting to add any more pens to my collection anyway. My husband says he has a big surprise for me for my birthday, so I'm thinking it's a pen. But we shall see. But I suppose a limit for me, I would feel like maybe 25 pens would be like a cutoff for me. Now, every month I use probably 11 to 15 pens, something like that. And I keep track of all the pens that I use and all the inks that I ink them up with. And I was for a while doing what I inked videos for the month of. And then when I went through kind of like a rough period, I stopped doing those. And then I kind of stopped doing them because I felt like, to me, they're more of like show off videos. And maybe I'm wrong in that sense. I don't want to show off my pens. I love my pens, and they're not all expensive pens. But I want my pens and my inks, I don't know, maybe I'll start doing those videos again if there's any interest in them. But I felt kind of stagnant in the journal flip throughs and the what I inked videos, and I guess I just need to find a better way to present those types of videos. Number 25, I would think. Is it a feeling? Yeah, kind of. And that number just feels like that would be bordering on excessive for me. Would be the limit. Last question. Consequently, what would you do if another pen or ink came along? Well, I shall tell you. Another pen came along today. And I really want it, but I cannot afford it. So it is going to go on a someday list, and that would be the brand spanking new Esterbrook Rainforest SD. Yeah, I saw that pen, and pardon my French, but my first two words were holy shit. Green and yellow. Oh, those are my jams. My jam. And yeah, it's a beautiful pen. And I know now that I love Esterbrook Esties. But I'm picky in my colors, you know. I have a color scheme that when I'm buying pens for myself that I kind of stick to just because I like it. But that pen it will be mine someday. But not anytime in the near future. Yeah, so that's the end of the 8-question tag. I hope you have stuck with me for this long chatty video. I hope this has kind of given you some sort of insight into my pen and ink world in my head. I hope you found some sort of enjoyment, and I hope that you out there, like, I would love to see, Alicia, I would love to see you do this tag in this video. I would love to see Heather Mattern do this. I would love to see anybody else do this. Like, I'm really excited about this video. So please, if you are a fountain pen person, ink person, journal person, I would love to see your videos. And I'm gonna keep like scrolling through YouTube until like the videos kind of pile up, and then I'm gonna binge watch them all. So I hope you've enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I wish you awesomeness and greatness. You guys are amazing, and thanks for all of your support, and I appreciate you.